It's the semifinals here in the ESL Open Cup 193 North American edition. And in the bottom left, in probably my favorite matchup, in the red, he's from Dragon Kites of Gaming, it's Dark. And in the upper right, in the blue, the best Terran from Europe, it's Clem. Clem. And I am horrible. Always me. Remember to fix it. There we go. So this is a matchup that is pretty awesome, and I'm not talking about TVZ. That's fun. We've lived through Heart of the Swarm. We have 8 years of Legacy of the Void, and we all know that TVZ is, well, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. For myself, I think TVZ is probably the best matchup to watch. There are exceptions. You know, you can get a Beyond versus Classic going. Like, okay, this is gonna be good, but just on average player quality or average game quality, I mean, it's got to go to TVZ. And then we talk about these two. This is kind of the setup where you would have Maru versus Cyril, and you're like, wow, this is gonna be really good because they play pretty similarly. Maru wants to go late, Cyril wants to go late, or Rainer Clem. They both want to play through the mid game. They want to play early. They want to get aggressive. And all that means is that, well, generally when we're talking about those matchups, it's like you talk about how these players are evenly matched through all stages of the game. They focus on similar things. But in this matchup, this one is a little different because Dark has great late game. I mean, so does Clem. Let's be real. But Dark, it plays in such a way that he wants to get to the late game quickly. He'll go Roach into 2 Infestor play into really quick Hive, but he doesn't want to go late. That's the interesting thing. If he has to, he will, but he wants to go and play. He wants to get to the late game as fast as possible and play it before his opponent gets there. And you might say, hey, Bale, that's just how Zergs want to play, and this is true. In general, Zergs and Legacy of the Void, they have a lot of units that are good up to a point. Ultras, for example, are fantastic if your opponent bio is 2-2 and doesn't have ghosts. But you add 3-3, you add ghosts, and it's like, well, Ultras, they are not useful. Ooh, Clem gets a queen there. Cross server ping. But anyway, it's like, yeah, Ultras are not great once the counters are out. Lurkers are a little better, but once the counters are out, they really do struggle. Someone could argue that the ultimate composition, the ultimate Terran late game composition, is better in a one-on-one fight than the ultimate Zerg late game composition, which I don't think is all that controversial. But Dark is like one of these few players that really tries to get himself to that late game as quick, effectively in the mid game as the Reaper. Now he's gonna scout. Hey, there's still speed on the way, but the important thing here is that Dark was tremendously greedy with his opener. Look at when speed is getting ready to complete. That's a 4-minute speed. That's delayed clash. That is actually, in fairness, calling this incredibly greedy is probably a little bit too much. But this is Dark cutting corners, playing through the mid game, because while we talked about what Dark wants to do, about how Dark is this player that loves to go roaches and get to the maybe not quite popping ultras at 820 like Cyril did against Mara the other day, but getting those 2 Infestors, getting into the late game, getting Adrenaline 3-3 and Vipers and things like that. Clem is this player that 9 games out of 10, 99 games out of 100 in this matchup, you know exactly what he's going to do. It's going to be Reaper pressure, fine, sure. But it's going to be Hellion Banshee behind that, into a third base, into that pressure. So if you're Dark, you understand that for the most part, you can cut some corners here. You're going to be okay, but Clem tries to dive in anyways. Lings don't have speed. 3 drones are going to go down, make it 5. Actually, he's going to get a couple more here on the lineup. 7 drones, 9. Oh my goodness, Clem. He sees an opening. Dark just a little bit too far forward, a little bit too far advanced on the map. When the queens are right there, if the Hellions can find their way in, and Clem knew that speed was, well, he didn't know that speed was slow, but he made an educated guess. He just got 10 drones. And now at this point, we talk about what he wants to do. Well, yeah, he lost a couple Hellions. He lost 4 Hellions in a Reaper, but he's going to produce a couple more, go up to maybe back up to 6, but at least back up to 4. And yeah, the Banshees on top of it. Well, now, Clem is looking good. He's rolling here in this early game. And behind this, third base on the way, additional barracks on the way. And the question becomes, as we talk about this early game pressure that Clem was able to find far more than any Terran player really should ever get against Dark or any Zerg. The question becomes just exactly how aggressive Clem wants to go with this. He got 10 drones. That's the timing. That's power. That is something that you have access to. On the flip side, though, well, not even on the flip side, do you want to really try to take advantage of that and go 8 racks? Flood across the map here. Royal Blood is a pretty solid Terran pushing map. It's pretty short. There are excellent siege positions here as the Banshees look for a queen snipe, but with spores there, not going to be too successful, and certainly maybe get a couple drones. But do you go for that? That's a valid approach, or you drop a quick fourth? Do you opt into the late game against Dark? Again, Dark is not quite Serral in terms of just how good his late game is, but it's very good as these Banshees, one will fall, second one, well, I mean, he got a queen. He got a drone, but I don't know that it was worth it there. Banshees are one of these things that simultaneously lose a lot of value once enough queens are out and once they have that value. Or really, I guess better way to say that, once the Zerg has creep spread properly and once they have layers, so they have overseers. But on the flip side, if you just hold on to the Banshees for a while and go back and retreat and heal them up and go out and do it again, you can fight. Like, you could cancel the 5th base, for example. 2 Banshees here. Queens, the creep is not far advanced enough. 2 Banshees would have killed this hatch. Instead, though, Clem doesn't have that opportunity. He can't really do that. So the 3rd hatch is getting up on top. Well, 5th hatch, 6th hatch, 7th hatch, all on the way at the same time here. Dark opting to do what Dark does. When he plays this style, it's so interesting because he's not playing roaches, not in this game, which is a valid stylistic choice. This is the other way that he likes to play. But he goes up to like 6 hatches so quickly, 5, 6 hatches incredibly quickly because he likes to play with queens at the front. That's not ready yet. So this hatch will go down. It's a 4 hatch, well, 4 base Dark, 5 hatch Dark. And beyond that, of course, this is a kind of a delayed 4th base because of the damage he took early on. It's 7.5 minutes, and Dark isn't, his economy, he's not on 4 bases mining just yet. But his hive has already started. His hive is already a third of the way done here, and this is what we're talking about. Get to the late game before the Terrans. Dark's gonna have his 1-1 done around the same time his hive is done, which is kind of insane, but that is just the way that Dark has been playing for the last 6 months or so. And hey, good job, cleans up group spread. But the other part of this style that we're talking about from Dark, actually, he's only on 6 queens. I expected him to be, well, at least 7 to replace the queen that he lost, but I expected him to be closer to 9 to 12, something like that. Really harp on this defensive style, but I guess once you're on 5, 6 hatcheries and you have 1-1 just about done, you have all this Ling Bane, well, you're kind of fine. And because Dark has been so greedy, look at this. Hive is done at 8, call it 820. Mark it. 2-2 is only just now getting started for Clem. Dark can get Vipers. You can get an Ultra Cavern, and now this is not the 4-minute infestation pit 820 Ultras that we saw from Serral, but even still, it's very quick Ultras coming out of Clem here. So this kind of pressure he wants to put on, it's just not going to happen. Of course, he's got a 4th base on the way, and I love what he's doing as well with these Hellbats from behind there, just making sure that any sort of Ling run by, at least from Dark, is just not going to work at all here. The Hellbats, yeah, do they have +3? Do they have Blue Flame? No, they don't. The 4 Hellbats right there will shred any sort of Ling run by that Dark may want to find himself, may want to go to. So for now, we've kind of stalemated here. That's a good tank positioning, but the Greens won't really be able to do all that much. A couple Baneleys go down. But really, it's all about this 4th base. And realistically, the 5th base, because Clem, I assume he's going to take the high ground as this 5th, and that's where you can really start to push through as the Terran player. But on the flip side, Clem needs to deal with Dark's massive economy. Yes, his 4th base was slow, but his 5th base is up, his 6th base is on the way. He has so much, even if his drone count is only 80, 79, it's not 94 or something. He has so much of the map here that even if Clem pushes this base down, there's going to have to be so much more. Baneley's getting really solid connections. So 2-2 is going to be done for both players, but Adrenal's going to be done. Additional +3 attack for the Lings. We're going to have Chitinous Plating versus 2-2 Bio. I mean, good luck with that one. These Ultras are going to be terrifying, and because Dark owns so much of the map here, he's okay to give this position up. Yeah, the target fire is really nice from Clem. Dark is totally okay to give this base up. Why bother? He's got his 5th base here. He's got his 6th base done. Sure, give the position up. The Terran has committed so much time and energy to doing that, and Dark can just expand elsewhere. He gets all of his drones out. But of course, now the Ghost Academy is going down, and a 5th command center is getting ready. 6th command center is on the way. Clem is starting to realize that this game is not ending anytime soon. So it's 3-3. It's concussive shells. It's the Ghost Academy. It's additional tech labs so you can build those more ghosts. I think the one thing I would like to see him do, but he doesn't quite have the money for it yet, is big run by coming on in from Dark. But Hellbats and tanks are here, and it's not going to get much. Banshee from earlier on, just a little bit of an early warning signal, getting a couple more lings, really. But I'd love to see a second armory. I'd love to see 3-3 on the ground, or double mech upgrades on the ground here getting started. As now we will see Vipers get great blinding clouds in the first couple tanks on the third, as well as now everything comes forward. But this line of Terran from Clem is so hard for Dark to fight through. That being said, hey, four armor ultras, more than enough here, so they're going to keep running right on through. Lings still survive, but even still, that was not cost effective for Dark whatsoever. Now the Queens, they're a little exposed. They're going to try to transfuse this ultra as much as they can, and they will. Look at resources lost now. This has been a pretty passive game, all things considered, and Clem is up about 3,000 resources. And I would wager that a good majority of that was that fight. Yeah, tanks went down. Clem lost a lot of supply. But Dark was rocking some level of a bank, and now he's not. And again, this game goes later. Clem will have 3-3. He's going to have... Interesting. This might be an economic decision. I don't know, but he's getting 3 Marauders at a time. He's not... I'm not seeing that ghost count right. Well, now there's a ghost on the way, I guess, but that's the first one. This academy's been done for just a little bit. Yes, Marauders are technically okay against Ultras, but this is not Heart of the Swarm, where 3-3 Terran Bio would absolutely annihilate Ultras because you just add a bunch of Marauders and there was nothing they could do. Yeah, eventually you'll cut him out, but you have effectively 6-3 Lings and 3-3 Banes and everything else. I mean, your army is really... It's really hard to kite this out with just Marauders. So Ghosts are slowly getting added in. It's like there's one on the map right now, and I'm not really sure what he wants to go for, but hey, this is a great choke. So the Lings are going to run in, and oh, that's a great blinding cloud coming in from Dark. Look at that. And it's the third one. The army has to kite away, and the Ultras and the Lings, they will play, but even still here, there's so much Sim City. Now, this base will fall. The command center will go down. It's not going to get canceled. But look at this fight from Clem. Even with the blinding clouds, the Ghost stays alive. All the Ultras fall. And at the end of things, that's a supply lead from Clem. What a fight. That was tremendously well done. Surprisingly enough, only about 1,000 resources in the good for Clem in that fight. You would have expected it to go 2,000 or 3,000. I would have expected the gap to be about 6K at that time. So I guess Clem lost a little bit more than I thought. But even still, I mean, really solid really solid fight coming out of Clem. Really good crisis management is really the best way to talk about that, because it's very easy. When the blinding clouds go down on your bio like that, your army wants to run on top of the Zerg. Like, oh, we got to get in range. We got to go, boys. Let's go into the Banelings. And it doesn't work. That is how you lose your entire army. So great crisis management there from Clem, realizing what was happening. I love this Viper hit squad. Just single Viper, couple Lings. It gets a tank, heavy damage on another one, and kind of surprised to see Clem not do the hot pickup earlier. I think he could have done so, but I guess he was focusing elsewhere. But what we have to talk about here is Clem is on 5 bases. He's building a lot of command centers. He will have orbitals, +3 mech attack on the way, adding in Liberator range as well. Look at the map that Dark has right now. It is insane. It's 60-70% of the map is covered by creep right now. And yeah, there are sensor towers literally everywhere. There's no way. I mean, no Nidus is going to find its way in. Clem is the algorithm on how Clem wants to play the late game, it seems really solid. But, I mean, the creep's hitting his third. It is really hard for Clem to get active on the map right now. So here come a ton of banelings here. Tanks need to get some massive shots. But yeah, this is a dead planetary. SCVs have to run away. They're not even going to try to save it. They're just going to try to save their lives as much as they can. And they won't. They will all go down here. But the banelings should fall. And this is a lot of... This is a tremendous amount of banelings here that will go down. Now, the Burrow's not even going to save things. So I guess there's one baneling will survive. This was actually, again, pretty solid there from Clem. Yeah, he lost a base and he lost 22 SCVs, but he's still on 62. He's still on 62 SCVs. He has more than enough command centers to turn back into a planetary on the left side. In fact, there's already one right here. So Dark lost 40 army supply to do that. And in the balance of things, it did not cost Clem nearly as much. So the gap continued to increase here as Lings on the left side getting on top of the tanks. But I mean, the planetary is doing a pretty nice job here. No armor though. No building armor, no high-sec auto-tracking. You really would like to see that as Clem goes super late. Yeah, he's getting +3 mech and he's remaxing and doing whatever, but he's got 2 E-base. And realistically, the building upgrades are not that expensive, all things considered as now. These tanks will fall, but they're going to try to get as much as they can on this counterattack coming out of Dark. Really just trying to pull Clem out of position. Every time Dark goes in, yes, he gets something. In this case, 14 SCVs is like 2 tanks. But I'm not tremendously convinced that this is worth doing, or this is done in a cost-effective manner. Clem's going to get a base. He's going to get a hatch here, and he's gotten the one on the left side as well. Pick up, run away. He really doesn't lose all that much, and look at the resources gap. It's 10k now. Dark is trying desperately to break what Clem is doing in this late game, which, in fairness, we talked about this 15 minutes ago. It is really hard for the ultimate Zerg late game to beat what the ultimate Terran late game is. It's just because ghosts are so strong, and because 3-3 mech with ghosts and one-shotting Lings with +3 blue flame hellbats are just so hard for the Zerg to deal with that eventually the Terran army will get better. The Zerg has to win by attrition. But we're not really seeing Dark move into what even could be considered his late game. Or his ultimate late game. What he's really trying to do here is play kind of back to the mid game, and this is something we will see a lot of Zergs do, where they realize that the Terran ultimate late game, they cannot build an army strong enough to deal with it. Not really. But what they can do is flood it. Tons of Lings, tons of Banes, tons of Hydras. Ghosts are not great against low value units. They're just really good against high value units here, as preemptively the repair is going to get started. But again, there's no high sec auto tracking. There's no building armor. This base will go down eventually. Clem's not too happy about that. Going down to 56 workers now. But looks like he took a pretty solid fight in the front as well. So you win some, you lose some, and Clem's bank continues to be okay. But Dark needs to continue to do things like that, because unlike the last time where it was really cost ineffective, this time Dark really didn't trade all that much. He traded 21 Banes, which I think that's the number, right, to kill a planetary. It's something like that. And he traded a couple Lings, but he's gotten 16 SCVs off this. He's killed tanks. He's getting on top of more SCVs. He's causing havoc at home here. He's forcing Clem to react. He might get this orbital, as SCVs are going to have to repair it. 20 seconds. Actually, less than that there. You burn down at more than 1 HP per second. It's dead. That's going to be a dead orbital. The Lings are doing so much here as well. Knocking down reactors, knocking down other things. And now this is going to be an orbital that Clem has to defend. It's not a planetary. He doesn't have that solid defensive setup. So we've been talking about how it's really hard for Dark to play super late against Clem, against really any Terran for any Zerg. But the last couple moments have been pretty solid there. Pretty good trades coming out of Dark, but he will lose another hatchery here as Hydras get on top of that excellent Liberator. It will go down. Now the Hydras are going to fight a little bit, but as this army becomes more Marauder Ghost heavy, yeah, they don't fight the Lings incredibly well. They don't quite fight Ling Bane incredibly well, but the Banelings by themselves just do not get the kills. So now Clem is really pushing in. He's got 40 army supply. He's got a ton of ghosts. This army that he has is, I mean, look at this. It's worth 3,000 more minerals, 4,000 more gas than the Zerg. And yeah, Dark's going for those counterattacks. Great. Adrenalings, 3-3 Adrenalings do not do enough here Not really. So yeah, Clem, he's on 43 SCVs, but he has the orbital count, I think at least. What's his orbital count at? Yeah, he's got 6 orbitals. He's got the orbital count. He's got the mules to make sure that even on 43 SCVs, he's more, at this point, realistically, all he's got to do is make sure he has enough money for scan, or for, he's got enough workers and gas and enough workers to build things. Minerals can be solved by dropping 6 mules at a time whenever Clem wants to build a bank. So he's going to be, well, I guess he wants scans too, but you get the point. So that's where Clem wants to be right now. 45, 55 odd SCVs. Not enough to mine the gas, enough to maintain that baseline. But again, realistically, mules are really strong. And now there's Blue Flame. +3 is done here. +1 armor's done. He doesn't quite have the gas income right now to make sure to find himself +3, or to start to find himself more mech upgrades. But even still, I mean, +3 with Blue Flame on these Hellbats means these Ling run-bys, if there's just a Hellbat or two in the mineral line, these Ling run-bys don't do anything. Now Clem on the right side. Dark keeps trying to mine out of this. He's not mining a ton here. Oh, Infester looking for the fungal, but he's not going to trigger it. Not just yet. And now the fungal is not going to land. Not now. And yeah, okay, Liberators just kill everything off. Here's Clem kites backwards. The Banelings, they're trying to run forward. They're just so slow. And the splits from Clem are fantastic, but they don't seem like they're enough. At the end of the day, the Corruptors killing off so many of the Liberators. Dark really crunches on through, and it's now down to the rally of Clem to try to do something, but the Hellbats aren't fighting. Now the Lynx have to run away because the Hellbats are here, but everything's getting knocked out of the skies. These Corruptors are doing so much with that +1 attack upgrade, but the Liberator count, that's the problem. Even without air upgrades, there are enough Liberators right now with the splash damage they have. The Corruptors have to run away. And that was, again, a pretty solid... Look at that splits there from Dark, just trying to find the value he can. It was a pretty solid fight from Dark. Resources lost here in the last 5 minutes. They really haven't increased. Dark has been trading, if anything, more cost effectively than Clem has. But the bank isn't really there. Even on 84 drones, Dark doesn't really have that much of a bank because Marauders, these should go down. If Dark reacts, he's going to try to get the base. And yeah, these +3 Lings there, they're going to shred the Marauders. So that's not all that cost effective. But the Corruptors actually, they're kiting away. They could have gotten those, they could have gotten the medevacs, but for now, it seems like this is where the fight's going to be over this base, over these queens and this queen energy. And this creep spread here on the right side. Dark trying to reestablish his position on the left, but that is that feels like a pipe dream at this point with how slow of a push that Clem really has on the left side with the missile turrets and the tanks. But Dark, the one advantage that you have, as Dark's just going to give the base up at this point, doesn't really seem like he can do anything. The one advantage that you really have in the late game here as the Zerg, you can maneuver around the map. Your army is so much faster than what the Terran has. Here's Banelings are going to get pretty solid. There we go. Nice connection there. And the planetary will go down, but you trade some Corruptors for it. Ghost Snipes are really good at that. Even still, it's 2 bases going down here from Dark. He's going to try to get a third, but there are not enough Banelings, and the Ultras, the armies are coming on over. This is not going to work out for Dark. Well, maybe it will. Okay, he's gonna get the base, but these Ultras are gonna fall down, and that's not money that Dark has right now. Less than 100 gas in the bank, less than 100 minerals in the bank here. Clem's economy is shattered. He really doesn't have all that much, but he's got an army that Dark will struggle to fight for the time being. So if Dark can establish this left base, and maybe long distance from the right, if Dark can buy about 5 minutes, maybe not even, Dark can buy 3 minutes for himself, I think he's going to be in an excellent position in this game. But as it stands, still have to be very careful. Here's Lings again on the run by, knocking down the gold, denying that from happening. Long distance mining also not allowed. So this is the mining base. Well, I guess actually, diamond in the rough there coming out of Clem. The fact that that base went down so often means that it's actually able to mine some. Dark, though, loses so much of his army here, and this is the problem. Clem, he's up double the army supply, and we talked about how Dark needed time. He needed about 3 minutes to max himself out to be able to build an army that could win the fight. Clem isn't giving him that time, and now this crusade, this slow push of anger and hate that's coming out of the Terran is not something that Dark can deal with at all. Dark's losing bases. Granted, losing the gold base doesn't matter. Not a lot. There was no money left. High ground base is absolutely something that does matter here, as now the Corruptors are going to run forward, knock down this Liberator, which again will deny mining. That's the important thing here. Dark denies mining from Clem once again. Watch the income drop. It's going to just... Clem does not have a lot of money. But on the same value, I'm not sure that Dark is going to be able to build an army that can fight what Clem has. Dark's looking at 15 Banes, 1 Ultra, 51 Lings, 2 Hydras. That's all that's on the ground. If he had the gas, which he doesn't, you would love to see 5 Infestors maybe. That would be really the way to fight this. But as it stands right now, there's just not enough spellcasters. So Dark, he has to give this base up, and there's no way to get the drones out easily. Clem gets on top of it. More economy from Dark's going to go down. So Dark has to take the fight here. Snipe goes down. Ultra's dead. Corruptors, they're doing what they can. But it is double the army supply for Clem right now. Dark is just... He's got nothing left. That Infestor is never going to see the light of day. And if it will have no family, will have no friends. The last Zerg unit available in the world that Dark's going to try to make happen. But it's just not really viable here. Dark is going to fall down in this game. There really is no saving it. And it's hilarious. Because Clem is down 50 workers. His economy just doesn't exist. But there's just no army that Dark can build at this point. Yes, army supplies are closer than they were at that last fight, but it's 2 Banes. Nothing. Lings do not deal with Blue Flame Hellbats and 3/3 bio. Clem plays a masterclass slow roll of a game, and he takes game 1. And the upper left now in the red. He's down a game in this series, just squeezed out of the map like a tube of toothpaste. It's Dark. In the bottom right, in the blue, he's up a game playing so well. It's Clem. And as we go further into this series, I would like to remind you all that if you want tons of awesome Starcraft, to try to go up 7 days a week, not always successful, but as often as I can, with the likes of Cyril and Maru and Dark here and Clem and Beyond and all of these awesome players, you should hit the sub button so you don't miss a single thing. And like this video, let me know what Dark should have done better in that first game, because it just that was one of those games we look at and that we realized that it didn't feel like Dark had any room to play the game. Clem just slowly squeezed Dark out, put him in that submission hold, and over the span of 24 minutes or so, 26 minutes, he just ratcheted it down time and time again, and Dark slowly asphyxiated. Slowly ran out of air, ran out of room, ran out of space in that game. Now, the difference here is that this is Gresfa. And this is a map that it's a little harder to squeeze the Zerg out of, just because there's so much more space. The map is bigger. There are more bases. So if Clem wants to just do the slow submission hold, it's going to take him a little longer. It's going to be a little harder to do. And Dark, more counterattack options, more options down how to play. So game 1, we saw Clem go, and he did exactly what we expect out of Clem. Reaper expand, Hellion Banshee, third base. This case, he played a little more passive because he got, I think in part because he got 12 drones, I think it was, in a queen early on here. So this Ling is just being a little feisty. But he got all that damage. 10 drones on the Hellion Reaper play, a couple more on the Banshee's got a queen. So he made the decision, however you feel about it, to just go late, to take his 4th base very quickly, to not lean into the 8 racks, to not lean into that pressure. And it ended up being a great choice because Dark was playing the way he likes to play, which is a 7-minute infestation pit, Hive getting started by 8 minutes, and Adrenal on the way with 2-2. Just building this army that, between Infestors and Vipers and Spellcasters and everything else, You really, as a Terran player, if you're trying to get aggressive through, you really will struggle. It's really hard to shove down. But now we get to see what he's going to go for in this second game, and realistically, it looks like it's going to be the exact same thing. Tech Lab finishing up as the starport's done, so see a lifty boy on over. Dark does know what's happening. He gets the scout. He sees, okay, well, you're going Hellion Banshee. That really, against Clem, I don't think that you need to scout it. In fairness, during the Masters Coliseum, we did see Clem in those best of threes, in those best of fives. He did play more varied, and we saw the 2 racks opener, and I love this. Oh, it's just a fun little thing you can do early on, as now Speed's done it 4 minutes, where, oh, okay, Reaper gets out. No, it doesn't. Never mind, Queen's there. You just put the Reaper on the high ground, you put some Hellions behind it, and if the Zerg blindly A moves and goes over there, you will kill a bunch of Lings. It's just, is it gonna win you the game? No, it's not gonna win you the game, but it will find you just something. It will find value. Maybe force more Lings out, which are drones that the Zerg is not buying, and well, it messes with the delicate balance of the game. So, fun little play. Really, that's all that it is. But Clem, behind this third base done, second and third barracks on the way. Hellions thinking about diving in once again, but they don't have that timing. It's almost 5 minutes. Speed is done. Really, that is the big deal. They dove in around 3:30-ish last time with the Hellions and the Reaper, and Speed wasn't done until 4:10, so they found value. This time, they would go in, they would die, it would not work out super well. So, Clem, just sitting on the edge of things, trying to deny creep as well as he can, gets 1 tumor. He could have gotten the other if he wanted to accept a tiny bit of damage on a Hellion, but not gonna go for it. But for now, this is just Grespon Gaming. This is just Dark and Clem getting themselves everything they could possibly want. Like, you know, you're like the kid in the candy shop, or you know, you're like the kid in the Mr. Beast video. He says, go into that toy shop and get everything you can buy, like anything you can fit in your cart, you can buy. In this case, it's anything you can fit in your main base, or anything you can fit in your 3 bases if you're Clem, anything you can fit in your 4 bases if you're Dark, you can have. So 1/1 upgrades and a Baneling. Very late. Well, no, I'm sorry. I said this was a late Baneling nest. This is just a very early lair. It is 6 minutes in, and this infestation pit is going down. The lair was already done. This run by is not going to find much value, but you thought that hive was early in the last game? Ooh, buddy. Dark he's not quite 4-minute infestation pit that we saw Cyril do, which I don't think we'll ever see again. But it is still pretty dang early here. Hive's going to get started at 7 minutes. That is very, very fast. But it's also a Grespon play. It's the understanding that, well, this is a map that Terran does not push through all that easily. Not really at all. So Clem is going to play around. He's going to mess around with his timings a little bit. But again, he's also playing very greedy. There's a 4th base on... Sorry, that's not a 4th base. That's a 2nd factory. Point stands. We're going to see a 4th base get started. Now, there we go. Cast to curse it. But there's a 4th base on the way. Clem doesn't even have he doesn't even have combat shields yet. So any worry that Dark has, this push from the Terran is going to be anything more than light pressure is just really, there is no worry at all. So Dark on the left side really forces things back. Banelings, they don't have Baneling speed, but they are going to be enough here without really combat shields to be able to force things back. So, and now Lings, they just sit underneath the medevacs, and medevacs for the most part will not really be able to unload. So Dark, he's got his 5 bases up, or just about. That hatch is done now, actually. 1/1's done. Burrow on the way. Baneling speed is still 20-30 seconds out. But the important thing here is that our hive is done before the 8-minute mark, and that means if Dark wants to go for it, another way to look at this, the hive is gonna be done, I think, before hive's done before Baneling speed is done. That's ridiculous. That's kind of unacceptable. That really should never happen, but so it goes here. Now Baneling speed is done. 2/2 is on the way. Burrow halfway done. But I'm keeping my eye on the production tab because I want to know what Dark is going to use with this timing. Is it for Vipers? Is it just for Adrenal? Does he want to go quick ultras? He has options, but for now, this push out coming out of Clem, it will get the base. There's no real way to fight into this. The creep isn't far enough forward, and that tank line is just not something the Dark wants to fight into. So for now, it's Vipers and Adrenal very quickly. And that, again, that's kind of what you expect out of this. That's the first step. That's the first approach to doing things. Oh, yeah, okay. You know, Vipers, Adrenal, those are relatively cheap. I mean, Vipers are still pretty expensive in the gas, but it's relatively cheap, all things considered, for the value they provide. And they come up pretty quickly. Getting ultras ready for a fight is a multi-minute ordeal where you have to get the ultra cavern. Nice target fire there from Clem. But you have to get the ultra cavern, and then you have to get both ultra upgrades, and then you have to wait for the ultras to pop, and you want to time it out right. And it's not as here and now. And anyways, Dark is seems like he wants to go lurkers off of this, but that's a very late Hydra Den to do that. If this, oh, nice cancel there on the 5th coming out of Dark with these lings. But I feel like if Dark wanted to go lurkers, he should have started the Hydra Den with the Hive, or close enough here, so you can have the lurker den pretty well. Obviously, or even just started the lurker den with Lair. Making it so that you can get your upgrades as quick as possible, but I guess it's just going to be Hydraling Bane, actually, playing this high tempo style. But there are a decent amount of tanks here that these Hydras are not going to be the most effective force as Clem stims and splits backwards. This fight from Dark is not it. It's not enough. And again, Dark's going to lose another base here. Queens are going to transfuse as much as they can. But I guess it's going to save Pneumatized Carapace. It's going to save Overlord speed, but that is... Dark did not get this forward base to get Overlord speed. This is not a proxy forward base to get fast Overlords. That's just not how this works. So Dark loses another base and finds himself back down onto 5 bases once again. Here is on the right side. Well, it's going to get found out. Clem's aware. He's got that Banshee from early on. He knows what's happening. And is he going to be able to deal with this just yet? No. No, he's not. His army's all on the left side. But that kind of gives him free reign to go kill this base again. He's going to seize the tanks up. I really could have snapped down the base. Well, really Dark was slow in rotating, but he's going to get himself set up. And yeah, there's the cancel. Dark understands that this is just not really viable. So Clem continues to shove in. And last game was just this slow constriction where Dark had everything he could possibly want, and then Clem slowly took it away from him. This time, Clem is rapidly taking away from here as Widow Mines. How good are they going to be? Oh, they're massive. They are disgustingly good. But even still, Dark's got enough of an army on the left side with the Parasitic Bomb, with everything else, that Clem didn't want to bother. Clem felt he had to pick up and run away. So for now, Dark does force Clem back. He loses 2 bases. He loses a lot of lings here. And if you look at resources lost, again, I find myself surprised that we're looking at only a 3,000 gap here. It really, this game in particular has felt like it is a lot more, but Dark, I guess between the run bys and the cancel of the base and some of the fights he's been able to take, apparently has been trading fairly well here. His lings are going to try to find this around, but there is just too much behind them. They just have to back up. It's just not incredibly viable. So now 3-3 is on the way. And random Widow Mines, they're not even, well, actually, yeah, okay, no, it was a drop, but random Widow Mine drops, finding their way on into the, what do you want to call this, the 3rd base? Yeah, that was the 4th, I think. Anyway, the 4th, the 5th. They get a couple drones, but Dark is quick on the pull. That's really not going to find all that much, but creep spread getting denied here. Target fire there from Clem. Sometimes Clem is just feeling it. Like, you can tell that he's feeling really good. Whether that's because he's actively dodging at depth shots with a medevac, as I think that was against Hero that he did that, or Max Packs. Like, he did that about a month ago, or games like this where barely any units, but he does the math properly, and he understands that he can get all the banelings down before he has to pick up and run away. Sometimes he ate his Wheaties. What is with that creep? Oh, okay. That's what it was. Dark managed to put a ghost to Creep Tumor exactly where Creep Tumor was for whatever reason. So it was shiny Creep Tumor. This queen will fall. Luckily, yeah, if you're a Zerg player, you can get shiny Creep Tumors a lot easier than standing on Route 2 and hoping that you that you hang out by the truck there to make sure that Mew spawns. This time, you just put a creep tumor on top of your creep tumor. It's fine. A lot easier. You don't need to grind out for thousands of hours to hope to get a shiny Magikarp. It's just, you can generate it whenever you want. Here's the, oh man, these Widow Mines. They're so valuable. Meanwhile, on the bottom left side, a couple Marines ran by. Seems like they got 11 workers. Very nice. But this Nidus, though, Clem has a ghost on it. And there we go. Okay, he is aware of this. He's going to stem some bio back. And they do have +3 attack. So this first Nidus will, you know what's going to pop a couple units out. But yeah, no. Look at what Clem's doing. He's not even targeting the Nidus down until the very end. He's just letting, oh, that's disgusting. He's just letting the Lings pop out. This is fine, as this Overlord will get sniped down here. Does he not have vision? Yeah, there we go. There's the snipe down. He just let the Lings filter out because he had enough of an army that they died as they popped. It's just a little extra value, but oh man, Clem. I love that. But now Dark trying to take this army down, but with Liberators here. Clem, I hope Clem understands that we are not in 5.0.12. We are not in this. The patch is not here where the Cyclones are just broken. I don't know. Clearly it's a misbook. He meant to get a tank, got a Cyclone instead. But nice subducts there on the Liberators. Clem not holding that position as hard as he would have liked, and the Liberators didn't unsiege. So this sequence of moves coming out of Dark, they're working out pretty nicely for him. Resources lost, only 5,000 in the lead here for Clem, which again is not that bad, but you don't want to take this fight from Dark. Not around the corner like this. You got to build your concave better. Every Terran, corners are a Terran best friend. You know, they say diamonds are a girl's best friend, and we don't need to get into the ethics of the diamond trade. But I want to say Terrans love corners more than anyone loves diamonds. It's not even close. The Zerg runs around, the Terran establishes a position, everything dies. You cannot run around corners. Just that move speed advantage and that burst damage, it makes everything clump up. I mean, it makes the Zerg sad. But for now, there are no corners here, so this is a bit of a more wide open fight the Dark's going to try to take here and abduct on one of the Liberators, but now the Hydras are just going to run in as much as they can, forcing the unsiege, the resiege. Liberators are just not dying all that quickly, so Dark takes a horrible fight. Clem stays max. The Viper will go down here as well. Yeah. Dark has a bank, but it's just, the gas bank's not incredible. Once again, that really has been the problem. If we look at resources lost here, is Dark is just not mining enough gas. I think that has been the case the last game as well. He had the economy. He's on 91 drones. He had the economy to make sure he mined enough gas, but he's only on 4 base gas mining. Technically he has 5th base gas, but it's not a ton. As these lurkers though, they do a lot. They knock down a base. They're going to get down a lot of the stack defense as well. And now moving away, running away. Snipes go down on one of them. But of course, snipes have at least range now. So it's going to be fine. And now, oh, I love this Nidus play coming out of Dark. Because he's going to try to get 2 birds with 1 stone here. Based on the left side. Based on the right side as well. Trying to move the lurkers in to make sure these SCVs fall down. But I don't know that this base dies in time. The Liberators arrive. A couple lurkers are going to try to find their way in. But the rest of them, they're just dead. There are so many ghosts here. The base doesn't fall. 22 workers go. 22 workers die. I'm still on 70. He's okay with this. He doesn't lose the base. He's got another base on the way, and that feels like one of those things that it's going to work once. I don't know that Clem's going to allow that to happen a second time. We should see like a defensive sensor tower go up or something. But for now, Dark trying to run through the middle of the map here. The snipes go down on the Viper. And that means that there are no blinding clouds. There is no parasitic bomb. There's no real way to do damage en masse to this army. And now the snipe, well, the cloak goes down, but there's plenty of detection here. So this base, well, the SCVs will go down. And with 3-3 cracklings, it seems like this base should fall. Yeah, the planetary is dead. Nice move there from Dark. Gets a couple Baneling connections. Actually, I guess he didn't get those Baneling connections on the backside as well. It was changelings that they were running into, not Marines. But a nice move there from Dark. Denies a base. Random swarm host on the map. Dark, that's how you know the game's getting hectic. You build the random swarm host. But Dark has done a great, even as the gap, the resources lost, the gap here has started to increase a little bit. Dark has had some really good moves over the last minute or so. He's denied significant mining. His opponent dropped down below 60 workers briefly. And Clem, again, how many orbitals does he have? He's got, okay, he doesn't care about SCVs. He's got 11 orbitals. My goodness. But the lurkers on the left side or the bottom side, they're going to try to get more. So they will force that base to lift up, run away eventually. As they unburrow, reburrow, the slow siege moving forward here. And Liberator's going to do what it can. But missile turret goes down very, very quickly. Oh, ghosts are going to get found out here as well. That's very nice. You know, we meme about the locust. We meme about the swarm host. But it's valuable. It does. It certainly does. Hey, you know, you can use it to snipe ghosts. That's the argument. Oh man, these lurkers are doing so much, but they can't get away. They can't run away. And now 16 dead lurkers have all gone down. Dark tried to do a cheeky assassination play. Did not work out. And now again, we're seeing the situation. Dark has not mined more than 1,000 gas a minute for like the last 5 minutes of this game. He really is not mining the gas values that he needs to support this playstyle. So he's got 6,000, he's got 5,000 minerals. He's got 200 gas, 300 gas. He's trying to get himself into the next stage of this game, but he just doesn't have the money for it. He can build infinite lings, but we are going to hit that point eventually with blue flames on the map and Hellbats and +3 and mech attack and all of these things. And Dark can build infinite lings and it won't matter. So for now, the lurker goes, the Nidus goes down. Lurker will be able to get it to escape this time, but we're starting to hit that point. How many Nidus have died? Just 5 dead Nidus heads. We're starting to get to the point now where Dark, he will struggle to afford building more Nidus heads. It feels like it shouldn't be, right? Because it's just the game says, oh man, these Widow Mines are good. But oh my, that Widow Mine. I thought they had all gone off, but oh man, yeah, Dark. That was like 40 supply. Dead in an instant there. Dark, oh, yeah, things are going to hell in a handbasket here. Clem is once again, it's the slow burn. It's the suffocation here. Yeah, it's happened a little differently, and Clem, for the moment, looked like in the pre-10 minutes, looked like he might just roll Dark over. But now that this game is going late, another Viper goes down. Dark has 20 gas. Dark just, again, this is the problem. He is not mining gas that he needs. Now, finally, he still has these extractors that he's not mining from. I feel like when you're on 91 drones and you have 5,000 minerals and no gas, you don't have to keep mining minerals, Dark. You can mine the gas. You can mine 1,600 gas a moment and just max out on all of that here. As now the Queens are going to run forward here. They're going to transfuse as well as they can. They will fall. Lings on the backside. There's no detection. The ghosts are shredding everything, and now snipes from the Hydra on here. The Liberators aren't even dead. They won't even go down. So yes, this one lurker on the north side is going to do what it can here, but this base seems destined to fall. Finally, these Liberators will hit the deck. Will go down. But I'm not even sure it matters anymore. Dark's economy is that big 5,000 mineral bank, 1,000, 2,000 minerals right now. It's been massively depleted. And again, he just doesn't have gas. 16,000 resources. Clem is playing just on another level today. I mean, Dark is one of these players. Dark's late game is very good. And Dark's timings when he hits that quick hive, he kills a lot of Terrans. The fact that Clem has been able to do this to him 2 games in a row, just play this late game, is really impressive, especially considering 8 months, a year ago, this was where we would expect to see Clem lose. Clem's late game was not all that great. And this Maru style kind of late game Turtle Terran was just not all that impressive, but he really in the last 8 months or so has shorted up to an extreme degree. And at this point, I'm not sure what Dark is supposed to do. He doesn't have a bank anymore. 78 gas is really all that he has to his name. And yes, Clem also doesn't have a lot of gas. But look at the army value. 1,000 more minerals, 500 more gas here. This random swarm host is not going to do anything. It's going to die eventually. Maybe drop a second scan for it. There we go. Dead swarm host. Dark desperately needs to keep this base alive because, well, you know, technically he's got all these bases. Well, actually, I guess this high ground base is, I thought it would have been mining, it would be really close to mining out, but no, it's actually got a lot of money to it. So Dark's not quite at the position I thought he was, where it was really starting to mine out of bases a little bit, but oh, that's a juicy one. Again, the Widow Mines here, just the bane of Dark. That one gets 6, but it was the one in front that got so much more. And now Clem, he's got to be careful with these ghosts. He saves them, picks them up, runs away. And Dark, you know what? He has stabilized me. I said this game was over. It did feel like Dark, with this lack of gas, lack of a bank, was dead. And he's still not in the best spot, but he has been able to roughly max out again. He's been able to redevelop some level of his economy. It's not great, but he's still mining 2,500, like 2,400 minerals a minute. Finally mining a decent amount of gas. But at this point, it really does feel like the momentum is here from Clem. And this slow push now from the Liberators. If Dark doesn't find a way to dislodge this, he will lose that base. And Dark trying to mine out of it. It's not really going to work. But here come the Lings running forward. Great abducts there on the Liberators, denying some of this here. And there's only one tank, not a ton of splash value. But look at this Sim City from Clem. It's so hard for Dark to get the trade that he needs to. And now Clem, again, ahead in supply here. Army supply, not worker supply, but just ahead in army supply. And army value. Again, that's the more important thing here. This Lurker should go down. Dark re-engages to try to keep it alive. And hey, the Lurkers stay alive for the time being. And Dark has been able to redevelop some of his bank here. 600 gas, 700 minerals. It's starting to get a little more equal. And the Banelings get some pretty solid connections, but now the Liberators are going to siege up once again. The Spore is actually the MVP of this fight. Really providing so much vision, providing so much anti-air, but even still, now it's dead. And the Lurkers, yeah, they're dead too. Dark gets squeezed. He gets wrung out of this game, and Clem, he moves on to a date with Beyond in the finals here in EPT NA 193. Man, Clem's just on another level today. It's so impressive.